Oh, hey, wow. Thanks for joining me. I was starting to get pretty lonely in here. I just wanted to talk about my favorite anime, Attack on Titan.
It's a brutal story about the last of humanity living behind massive walls that protect their civilization. Because on the other side are horrifying giant monsters called Titans, whose only desire in life is to eat people alive. They're also incredibly weird. In fact, they tend to be straight up comically bizarre. These big-eyed creatures are not the classic monsters you might be used to seeing, though it's exactly their uncanny nature that makes these Titans so effectively terrifying.
But in today's video, I wanted to give you a taste of what it would really look like if Titans were real. I'll do my best to avoid story spoilers and will only be pulling from the anime shown so far, as opposed to the manga source material, so you won't be seeing any fish bones here. The Titans range from 3 meters tall to 15 meters tall, and usually generally humanoid in shape. Their proportions can be kind of crazy. I mean, just take a look at this gluttonous dude right here. Look at him. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no! But a cool twist to this type of story comes from the addition of what are called Titan shifters. They're people who can turn into massive specialized Titans at will, and these Titans, oh man, they are awesome.
They're basically giant mech suits, the same that you'd see in Pacific Rim or Gundam Wing or even Power Rangers. But these guys are fleshy. They even have their own little fleshy pilot cabins. It's the idea of a mech suit as a superpower. And when they fight, they tend to reduce their surroundings to rubble, so they're obviously really big.
By the nature of them being animated, it's kind of hard to discern their true scale. How big are these Titans really?
Well, the show often reminds us exactly what the scale of the world is.
It's gotta be 14 meters.
7-meter Titan.
17 meters tall.
2 15-meter Titans.
4-meter companion Sonny.
We know that the main character, Eren Yeager, has a Titan form that is 15 meters tall. And if he existed in real life, this is what he would look like, towering over these industrial buildings of Los Angeles. Another Titan shifter is Eren's biggest rival, the Armored Titan. Although much wider and more built, he's the same height as the Attack Titan, and the rivalry between these two is pretty awesome. You wouldn't want to be anywhere nearby when they start fighting.
The creator of Attack on Titan, Hajime Isayama, is said to have designed Eren's Titan after the professional fighter Yushin Okamai, and I definitely see the resemblance. The Attack Titan's basically just a bigger version of him. And that got me wondering how big humans can actually be. For some context, Okamai and I are both about 6'2", even though the average male height is about 5'9". Levi Ackerman, on the other hand, is 5'3". Yet, despite his short stature, he's easily the coolest character in the entire show. But to be considered an actual real live giant, you have to be at least 7 feet tall. Like the most famous example, the Kazam legend Shaquille O'Neal. It is absurdly rare to be as tall as him. In fact, you are 5 times more likely to be struck by lightning than to be as tall as Shaq. But there's only one person who can hold the record for the tallest person of all time, and that was Robert Madlow, standing at almost 9 feet tall. His height made him famous, and he even toured with the Ringling Brothers Circus. Perhaps unsurprisingly though, he also holds the record for the largest hands and feet of any person in recorded history. Sadly though, his size caused multiple health complications, and he ended up dying at the age of 22. The human body struggles to work correctly when it's this big. But why is this?
So close!
It's incredibly easy to imagine a giant. You just think of a person, but bigger. The problem is that when you scale something up, the physics don't scale up the same way. For example, strength is determined by the cross-sectional area of something. The more cross-sectional area you have, the more strength you have. It's why bones are easier to break this way than that way. However, the mass of an object is determined by its volume. As an object gets bigger, it gets heavier faster than it gets stronger. The strength increases by the square, but the mass increases by the cube. And the difference between these two numbers increases exponentially. In physics, this is what is called the square-cubed law. As things get bigger, strength just can't keep up with the weight gain, so you have to compensate. This is the exact reason why elephants have such thick legs to hold up their heavy bodies. And it's also the exact reason why the largest animal in the world, the blue whale, can only exist with the buoyant force of water holding it up. Attack on Titan explains all this away by simply saying the Titans weigh a lot less than they should. It actually kind of makes sense if you want your Titans to realistically hold their shape. And considering how fictional the show is, it's an appreciated effort.
Now there's one more Titan that I haven't talked about yet. The largest one, the Colossal Titan. He debuts in the first episode by smashing a hole in the outer wall, literally kickstarting the story as a flood of mindless Titans enter the city. The Colossal Titan is truly gargantuan. It's portrayed as a living skyscraper towering over everything as it lays waste to it all. So how big is the Colossal Titan? He's listed at being 60 meters tall. Now that's huge. However, when we start thinking in relative terms, he becomes a little less imposing. For example, this is a football field, and this is the Colossal Titan. At less than 200 feet tall, he wouldn't even come close to the full height of the Statue of Liberty, which most New Yorkers will tell you isn't really all that big. For them, it's just that little thing off in the distance, you know? Now here's something that blew my mind. Remember that little boat that got stuck? Well, the Colossal Titan could lay down on that ship sideways. Like, I'm talking without sticking out on either side or hanging off at all. This really makes the Titan look tiny. Although, to be honest, I think this is more just a testament to how huge these ships are than anything else. I mean, this ship is larger than the Empire State Building. And if you want to find out how it got stuck, I recommend checking out Practical Engineering. If you've seen Godzilla vs. King Kong, you're already familiar with the two most famous Titans that humanity has come up with Kong over 100 meters tall and Godzilla at 120 meters. Godzilla is literally twice as tall as the Colossal Titan, and I don't know how to feel about that. They would probably just kind of ignore him as a nuisance.
So then why does the Colossal Titan appear so colossal? We touched on this in an episode of Animators React.
For one, the show can get away with things you can't in real life because it's a cartoon. You can exaggerate different scales by simply having different field of views for the foreground versus the background. Also, intentionally making something appear larger builds a sense of tension and visual drama when you have to face an unfathomably large opponent. They take this even further by making the Attack Titan appear tiny when he's trying to fight back.
Like, he literally looks like this tall.
Like, seriously, look at him! He's barely as tall as the first floor of the building. How is any of this to scale?
A more common example of this idea is the wall surrounding humanity. It's a 50-meter wall, which is certainly a huge wall as far as walls go.
However, the way it's depicted in the show makes it appear like it's the wall from Game of Thrones. And you'd totally be forgiven for thinking they're the same size. However, the wall from Game of Thrones is over 4 times larger than the wall from Attack on Titan.
That's well over 3 times taller than the Colossal Titan. He would not be able to scale that wall. Although it is the Colossal Titan, he's a very hot dude. Maybe he could just lean up against the wall and just melt through it. I don't know what I'm saying here. Listen, we've all seen airplanes before. You know the Boeing 747? Imagine leaning that against the wall of Attack on Titan.
But now notice how the houses are way smaller than the plane. See, this is what I'm talking about. They say the wall is 50 meters tall, but then they visualize it being like 200 meters tall.
But you know what? I get it. No one actually cares about the discrepancy in size consistency across multiple episodes. It's about the emotional impact of the imagery. When it comes to anime, I would take that any day for the sake of being cooler and more impactful. Part of why I love Attack on Titan so much is that regardless of how dark the story can get, it's about perseverance. It's about not giving up in the face of adversity. No matter what happens, keep moving forward. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you tuning in. This one had a lot of CGI in it, so I wanted to give our friends at Puget Systems a shout out because even though we're crunched on time, we're able to still make stupid stuff like that. I mean, there's no reason for this shot to exist, and yet there it is. And to be completely honest, like, our whole studio is outfitted with Puget Systems at this point. They make our lives so easy. Like, you don't have to know how to build a computer at all, and if you do, they save you so much time by testing it. They figure out the best computer to fit your needs. For instance, we've got several computers with 3090s in them now, and we even got AMD Ryzen processors. We've got 64 cores ripping all kinds of threads around here. So thank you again to Puget Systems for making that happen, and thanks to you for watching this video. If you want to share this video, that would be the best way to help us. And in the meantime, try to think about what I should do next time. I'm curious to see what you think. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.